Okay, and also, should I call you? What should I call you, man?
You can introduce me as Aravada, but I'll probably just say to call me Janesh
All
afterwards
right, cool,
after
cool, cool.
that. Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so for the episode today, welcome back. We got the one and only Eric Vada. And here we go. 12 over 12 million views on his YouTube, 41,000 subscribers on his YouTube. One of the most underrated talents on the platform. Incredible producer with a really incredible sound. Sound like a mix between Nav, kind of cold, dark winter nights type stuff, and real smooth, flowy beats, but a real artist at the heart. You can tell. Just a Libra trying to find balance. I'm introducing to you, Aravada. Thank you for joining the podcast, bro.
What's up, man? Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too. So, me and my girl been a fan for a long time. We just listen to beats. We listen
Hmm.
to beats after beats after beats because I just like making music. Your music is inspiring when I listen to it. When I listen
Thanks,
to it,
man.
it makes me want to be a better artist. I'm not even exaggerating you. Where did that come from? Take us back to the early times when you first started toying with the music.
Hmm.
When was that?
I mean, it's honestly as long as I can remember. Music in general goes back really far. So, if you can't tell, I'm Indian.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah,
heritage, and I grew up in a very not super traditional. My parents are very like with it when it comes to understanding Western ways and stuff, but we
yeah.
only speak Gujarati at home. My parents
Mm,
only listen to Hindi music at home. So like
mm,
growing up, my dad, he never admits that he's into music. Like if you ride in the car with him, it's always quiet. There's nothing going on, but like he's always drumming if there's something going on. So like I know he's a musician at heart, and he taught me how to play drums when I was super little.
mm.
And that was like a party trick that he would show his friends like, "Oh, look at my son, he's a good drummer." So like I can remember playing drums for family friends and shit like that. Also, is it okay if I curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Say,
okay.
say what you say.
Okay, yeah. So that's some of my earliest memories in terms of music is just playing drums when I was a little kid. Um, I remember buying like guitars from the flea market when I was little and trying to
Yeah.
learn. So like it's as long as I can remember. In terms of digital music and making beats, that's probably around 12 years old. I was like putting
Okay.
loops together on a program
Yeah.
called Mixcraft. If you guys are familiar with Mixcraft.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I never heard
Yeah,
it. I didn't even hear about it. You said 12
yeah.
years old?
Yeah, like even before that probably, but yeah, I had a
So
buddy
it's
who
just
wanted to
in you.
rap and yeah, I just always been trying to do something with music. And eventually I figured out what FL was through watching videos about Mixcraft
Hmm.
and people were making like Lex Luger type beats and stuff like that. So this is probably like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
And I convinced my parents to buy me FL when I was like 15. I was like, this is a program that's gonna help me learn piano, and they fell for it, and I got it, and I got it.
Let's go. You got to get creative.
Yeah, and ever since then I've been on FL, produced all throughout college or all throughout high school, and I'm 28 right now, by the way. So
Okay. Okay.
I knew I could sell beats online when I was
Mhm.
like 15, 16. As soon as I
Yeah.
got FL, that was the goal, because like my parents were kind of struggling financially, and I wanted to help them
Yeah.
out, not really be asking for money and stuff like that. But I couldn't enter legal contracts until I was 18. And my being in like a child of immigrants, I'm scared of the law. So like so I was
Yeah.
like not trying to do anything remotely illegal outside of like
Yeah.
maybe stealing a couple plugins here and there, but that's different.
Yeah.
Um so I didn't want to like get in any major trouble, so I waited until I was 18 and I was like I'm just gonna perfect my craft until I turn 18.
Mm.
Then I'll open a bank account and like do it the right way and start selling my beats. So that's what I did. When I got into college, I turned 18, started selling my beats. That was my main goal when I got to college. I was like, I'm going to college. I'm gonna do what I gotta do and get good grades, and that's gonna be plan B, but I'm gonna try to make beats.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my thing. And
Yeah.
I stuck to it and my YouTube channel flopped for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
But after that I like really just kept trying because I was like, there's no point in not trying at this point. So
Right.
um, I just kept
So,
trying different things, and eventually I found my sound, and then it took off from there.
yeah, a lot of people struggle in the beginning with a couple things. There's so much to unpack there. First of
Yeah.
all, when you say you went the few years without selling the beats. You knew you had a goal and a vision to sell the beats, but you perfected your craft. Most people miss the part where you perfect your craft. That's number one. That
Yeah.
I want to really talk to you about, like what that time frame was like,
Hmm.
because I know what your motivation was. It was you wanted to support your family and you wanted to help with the money.
Yeah.
So you that pocket of time. And then the other thing is finding your sound. That's a very intuitive, very internal, subjective, like
Yeah.
ear ear with that. So first, unpack what it was like to know you want to sell the beats. That's what you're doing, but having to
Yeah.
wait that much time and perfecting your craft. What was that like? That whole process.
Yeah. So also if I talk too much, just cut me off. I know I'm a talker, so
Go ahead,
just cut
man.
me off. But so during those few years, I think I just tried out a lot of different stuff because like I knew that making beats consisted of a few things at that point. Like I knew I could make things from scratch. I knew I could sample. I knew I could like put together loops and stuff like that. And at that time, I was really just trying to do my homework on like how to be a better musician. So like at that time, I was really, I mean, I'm still like super into rap music, but like, and that's like
Hmm.
the main thing I make. But I think I'm more eclectic with it now. But at that
Oh
time, I
yeah.
was like, everything was rap music for me. It was like I'm either listening to the modern stuff, which was like A$AP Rocky, like
Hmm.
Kendrick at that time, like all that like early teens
Hmm.
stuff. But I was
Yeah.
also trying to do my homework, and I was listening to older stuff like Tribe Called Quest and like the
Yeah.
classics, the golden era of hip
Yeah.
hop and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that because I just didn't want anybody to be like more knowledgeable about music than me at that time. That was like what my
Right.
thinking was. So I
Right.
tried to just listen to everything. And so I was trying to make everything. And the way I saw it was like I had people online that I was looking up to as well. And I was just
Hmm.
trying to like get better at sampling, also get better at making things from scratch, trying to
Hmm.
learn how to layer instruments. Um, it was
And
really
how
just
many hours a day were you spending on that?
I mean, I wasn't counting, but like it was every day. Like the way music works for me is like it's always been something to fill the gaps. So like if I
Hmm.
have 30 minutes here to like between me sitting here and then having to go out somewhere, I'm gonna try to make a beat in that 30 minutes, even if it's half a beat. Like
Hmm.
I have a pretty busy life, so outside of medicine or outside of music, I'm also in medicine.
Okay.
I'm a medical student currently, so like very
Okay.
busy schedule and
That's packed.
yeah, and I gotta fill the gaps. So, um, that's the way I've always looked at music is just like fill the gaps.
Hmm.
So
So
it's either yeah, go ahead.
so I got a question about this. So I you said a word that sparked my a question in my mind. When I
Hmm.
listen to your beats, I I swear to you, it feels like it's a spiritual tonality in the beat. Like, did you come up spiritual, like religious or spiritual at all? And does that have an influence on your beat making and on your music?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very spiritual. So my family is Hindu and I'm Hindu. Um, I think I have my own take on what Hinduism is to me and like the way I practice it. But I
Yeah.
mean, I pray every day. I'm very spiritual. Um, I definitely like I see music as a form of nature in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, And I think nature is the most sacred thing that exists because
Yeah.
it's the closest thing to, anything
The
above us.
divine.
Exactly. So, um, anything I can do in line with nature is like what I gravitate towards.
And obviously that crossover into medicine. Like, does that artistic side of
Definitely,
your
yeah.
life cross over into medicine? Like, how does that cross over? Because I know it blends.
Yeah, I mean, music's been such a blessing, honestly. I've gotten to meet so many people. Like, I'm getting to meet you now. Um, and like, I've met people from all these different countries and like had a lot of great opportunities through music. And it's really just made me aware of like the diversity of life. And
Hmm.
that's a great perspective to go into medicine with because like I have a very empathetic approach. When I go talk to patients and stuff like that, I'm always trying to understand their perspective on things,
Yeah.
trying to understand the context of what they're going through. So
Hmm.
it definitely bleeds over.
Yeah. So me and Leisha, like we study a whole bunch of different religions. So the main few is Hinduism, Taoism,
Hmm.
and really more of a mystical spiritual a mystical Christianity. but it's more like Kabbalistic, spiritual energy. And when I do music, it's and I want to ask you about this process because when I do music, one of my mentors is like Stephen Pressfield. Do you know who Stephen Pressfield is?
I don't know.
Stephen Pressfield, he wrote this book called The War of Art. And he talked about just putting your ass where your heart wants to be. Sit down at the
Hmm.
table and do your work, like at a
Hmm.
specific time and just bang it out. He
Hmm.
wasn't as creative though, so he had to really discipline himself in order to get his creative flow going. So he would sit down and he was a writer. But what it reminded me of was the way the creative process itself, sitting down and really channeling energy. It's like sometimes it come from another place. Like when you in a flow state and you
Yeah.
just going, the best work that I've done and the best work any artist has done, it comes from a
Yeah.
different place. It's almost like it's not even me. It's just coming from a whole different place. So
Yeah, definitely.
when you go through your creative process, do you have a specific set process that you go through, a discipline that you go through, or do you
Hmm.
approach it kind of freestyle?
I've been making music so long. I think I've gone through all the phases. Like I used to be that way where I had a certain workflow. I was like,
Hmm.
I have to have this thing on TV in the background. I have to have like
Mm.
very specific things going on. But over time I discovered, and maybe this is just, the fact that like there is no true process. But over
Hmm.
time, I kind of just felt like I shouldn't lock myself into only one way of thinking because like when that method stops working, you're kind of at a loss for what to do, and then you
True.
just kind of have to surrender and just be like, let me take a break, and you get no music made. So, not everything's about the sake of productivity, but at the end of the day, like the only way to get better is to make more music, and you don't want to have too many large gaps in making music. So I feel like now I approach things very like freestyle, like you said.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
I'm just like, um, the only true thing that I do first, like to a T, is I start with melody first. That's the
Hmm.
only thing that is constant throughout my career.
I can
Other
definitely
than
hear that in the
that,
music
yeah,
too.
other than that, I don't really have any laws or anything that I follow, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can definitely hear the melody first. Like it's all
Yeah.
melody. It's deep melody. And I see a lot of Nav influences. Like, did he influence
Yeah.
you at all? How much did
I
Nav
mean,
influence you?
yeah, so definitely. That like time period, that whole Toronto sound in general, like that 2014 to like 2017 Toronto sound,
Hmm.
Party Next Door, Drake, Roy Woods, um, like that really ambient sound, it
Yeah.
heavily influenced me because I can't really put a finger on why. It's just a
Hmm.
sound that really resonated with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, that sound's definitely been a huge influence on me and something I gravitated towards. I'm looking to tr take it even further than where it was taken back then. You know what I mean? Like kind of pick up
Yeah.
where those people
It's
left off.
definitely
Because
evolved. Your
yeah,
sound is definitely more evolved. It's like it's the evolution of what it was back then. It's much
yeah,
more I don't want to say meshed, but it's much more cohesive. It's like one organism. It's like when you listen to your beats,
mm,
it's like a child that grew up like from the just regular ambient, you know what I mean? It's like
yeah. I love
almost,
that. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like it grew up and it's now matured. It knows itself better. It's almost like the beat itself, that ambient sound has its own energy. It's like a
yeah,
grown up, like it's matured. So
yeah,
it's totally unique. It's totally different. And I
yeah,
cannot find a single producer who
hmm,
comes close to the vibration of those
hmm.
the beats that you make. It's incredible. So unbelievable, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. Yeah,
So I want to segue into the business and the money side of it. Okay.
sure.
So
Yeah,
a lot of artists have a big issue when it comes to how do I want to do it for the art. I don't want to involve business. I don't want to involve the money. But a lot of times they don't realize if you are an artist and you don't know the business, you're really a slave to the business. Or
yeah,
if you just all business and you discard the art, it's going to be garbage. It's
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
trash. So when it comes to the money and the business side, how do you approach that? And can you break down how an artist, let's say they're making beats and they just
Yeah.
started making beats, how would they approach actually making money from the beats? Like, what's your strategy on that?
Um, that's a really good question, but it's a really tricky question because when I came into selling beats, I started in like 2015. didn't
Mm,
sell beats really until 2016. And people were saying it was saturated then. It's even more saturated now. So I think the approach that I took may or may not work. The
mm,
thing I kept telling myself when it wasn't working for me was that success is just, a product of patience and consistency. Like you
mm-hmm.
just got to be patient and you just got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I was doing it for years without making any money. I was going to be making music regardless. That wasn't really a question to me. It was
Right.
just a matter if I was putting it out or not. So I was like, if I'm going to be making it, I'll just put it out. And then if someone buys it, someone buys it. Um, and so that's how I approached it for a long time. And that's how I started getting like traction. Um,
Mhm. So let me ask you this
yeah.
then. So let me ask you this then, because it sounds like you wouldn't do the same thing today that you did back then because of the
Hmm.
marketplace, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So is that because of AI? Like, how would you approach it now if it was fresh?
I don't think AI is really a factor. But I think if I was to start selling beats today, I would definitely take a few months. First of all, I would make sure my beats are good first. I don't really know how I would do that. I would probably use on like feedback from friends, tell people to be
Uh-huh.
brutally honest with me, maybe put a few out on a burner account, something like that. Like really just
Yeah,
figure
yeah,
out
yeah.
is my music really good or not. Once I know if it's good, I would stock up. I would stock up at least a couple months worth of beats and I would start uploading daily because like
Hmm.
I think as someone who started a long time ago and has kind of a fan base already,
Hmm.
I have a privilege of like not having to upload daily. And like I'm also kind of an oddball in general. Like
Yeah,
I don't really follow a lot of the rules that like
yeah,
social
yeah,
media
yeah, yeah.
says. But I think if I was starting out, I would definitely try to upload daily because that's kind of the norm right now is to
Yeah.
upload daily. So
You got to upload daily.
and you want to be ahead of schedule for that because otherwise it's going to get too stressful and you're not going to be able
Hmm.
to keep up and that matters for the algorithm.
So how many should they stock up? Like if it was a beat maker, how many beats should they stock up on in order to really release? Should they have like 3 months of
Yeah.
beats ready
Oh,
before they start?
it depends on your comfort level and how fast you're making beats because like if you're making only a couple beats a week, you might want, a couple months of leverage of like wiggle room. So you
Hmm.
might want to stock up on like, 45-ish beats, maybe 45 to 60 beats, and just be sitting on them ready to drop and like have them queued up and ready to drop. If you're someone that's creating on a much more consistent basis, then maybe only, 20, 30 beats and you can stay on schedule. But whatever's going to keep you on schedule, because one thing I did was definitely stay on schedule. I put out three
Hmm.
beats a week for years, years and years. I
Damn,
didn't break that schedule until only 2 years ago, and I'm 10 years into posting on YouTube. So like for eight
damn.
years, I was posting three beats a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Never, I tried not to miss an upload. Probably missed a couple, but
Hmm.
um, it's
But
it's
that
really
consistency,
important.
that
It's really
consistency.
important
So
because
many artists miss that.
yeah. It's yeah, there's like a artistic consistency you want to maintain in terms of
Hmm.
just ha being in a rhythm of creating on a regular basis, but algorithmically you want to be consistent because otherwise they're not really going to push you
Hmm.
as harsh as that sounds, but you just got to play the game to a certain extent when you're starting
Yeah, for
out.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure. So, and you said you were consistent for 2, 3 years before it actually started popping, or you said 6 months. How long was it
It
before?
was like so I started posting beats January of 2016
Hmm.
and then I started getting traction meaning like more than probably 20 likes on a beat probably like 6 months after that and then a couple months after that so September of 2016 one of my beats got used by this dude in France and it went viral. It got like 3 million views in a couple days and then
Uh,
he had linked my channel so like I got a bunch of traction off that and things
okay.
just kind of spiraled from there but
So he made the beat, linked your channel, and then people found your beats from there.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
It only take one. It really only take one.
yeah.
So a lot of people get discouraged on that, but that really showed me as far as the financial side, like the money side of it, you just have to get into your own rhythm. And the
Mhm.
arts is different from business. So I come from a traditional background in business. I would do sales, marketing, and I
Yeah.
was partnered with like Costco, Sam's Club, Best Buy, and all of these big box retailers. And I would
Okay.
sell telecommunication products in there. That's a very straightforward process. I'm going to
Yeah.
teach you how to sell this product and then you go out and you sell it and I'm making money here and there.
Yeah.
And I do that 7 times and I'm making seven times the money. It's very direct, it's very straightforward, it's very boring. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the creative, it seemed like it's more like a cross-pollination process. Like the bee goes and lands on this flower and it take the pollen and go pollinate this other colony over here.
Hmm.
That's what it seemed like when it's with music. It's not such a straightforward process. It's
Yeah.
more it's more just interconnected and it's more random and it's more chance involved, it seemed like. So
Yeah.
I want to know about your manifesting process. Do you believe in manifestation? I know you said you had a Hindi background. So what is the creative process spiritually or mentally or in
Hmm.
manifesting that you use to really create what you do? Create the way that you create.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really a direct link for me. I think it's more
Mhm.
so like the one quote that I live by and I've lived by this for a few years now, and I'll get into the money side of things as well in a
Okay.
second, but one quote that I really like is I think by Leonard Cohen, really famous musician, and he said that music is the ash, or art is the ash, and life is the fire, and you can't really focus your life around building better ash because that's not how things work. You have to build a bigger fire. So I really
Yeah.
I live life like that. I try to live a very fulfilling life outside of music, and
Mm,
then the music is just the byproduct of it. Not to
damn.
diminish, yeah, not to diminish its quality or its value, but like don't get me wrong, music is the center of my life. I want to live my life so that I make the best music,
Yeah.
but I need to make sure I'm living a full life around it in order to make the best music. So,
Wow. That's powerful.
yeah.
That is powerful because it's so true. Like I notice when I try to focus all my attention on making that's what I'm saying. It's like a paradox because
Mhm.
your life is the fire and music is the ash makes so much sense because if you focus on the ash,
Yeah.
you don't have a fire. The fire
Yeah.
produces the rest of it. That's so incredible. Like that's
Yeah.
incredible.
No pun
So
intended. You're gonna get burnt out. If you try to make better ash, you're gonna get burnt out.
damn, that's a
Yeah.
fact. That's such a fact.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. You said you wanted to get into the money side of it.
Yeah. So my background, so like I said, I'm in medicine right now. So I went to
Hmm.
college. I was pre-med. That was plan B for me at that time, and I was really trying to make music work. I
Hmm.
did a master's program. I was still trying to make music work. I had a few
Hmm.
years off where I was kind of working as a caregiver for my grandparents. They were having some health complications. And I was working on top of that, but music was my main focus during that time. It was like 2 to 3 years. And during that time, I really tried to make music work full time. And I was semi-successful with it. I had some decent placement opportunities that ultimately didn't pan out, but I was really trying to make music work as a career for me.
Hmm.
Um, but during that time, I realized that making music for the sake of making money really takes away from the soul of it, especially in the state that the industry is in now. And I don't think it's a new thing. I was watching actually some D'Angelo interviews today,
Hmm.
which RIP D'Angelo, but I was watching some of his interviews today and they're from like 2014, 2013, and he was talking about how the industry's just obsessed with marketability
Hmm.
and they want to do things that are lowest cost to them, biggest payout, even if that means at the cost of artistry. And that's just the place we're at with the music industry. And I feel
Yeah.
like nobody cares about artistry or real art anymore. And there's no, in my opinion, if your goal is to make impactful, powerful music, you can do that without making music your full-time job. Because at the end of the day, you need to create good art that's going to really be impactful. If you get stuck in the spiral of like having to create music on a schedule so that you make enough money to pay your bills, you're not going to be putting your life and your soul into the art as much.
Yeah.
You're going to be cranking things out. Um,
Definitely.
and it's a trap that a lot of people fall into. And I think, I don't know, there's two ways to approach music. You know, you can do it for money and you can make a living off of it for sure. And a lot of people are talented enough to do it and still make true art. But
Hmm.
I think music that's made without the purpose of making money at the end of it is more authentic, in my opinion. And so that's the route I chose, and that's why I went into medicine. And so I never
Mm,
prioritize money with music anymore. And my beat sales have gone way down because I'm not uploading as much, but I think
yeah.
I'm prioritizing the art because I have a vision for what I want long term, and I want to make impactful art. Especially, being 28, people say that,
Hmm.
music is a young man's game. I'm getting
Yeah.
older, and I really got to think about, what's the impact I want to have with my art. So, um, yeah, for me, I just chose quality over quantity at the end of the day.
So I know your tagline, just a Libra trying to find balance. That
Yeah.
implies that you are a Libra. I'm an Aries, by the way, which is totally opposite. And Alicia is Aries. She's a Libra too.
Hmm.
But when it comes to the impact you want to make, I understand. Seriously, your art is inspiring. It's inspiring. I listen
Thank
to
you.
it
Thank
and
you.
it's totally different than any other sound. There is no sound like it. Is no there the energy that's infused in the beat, you can feel it. It's incredible. It's different. It's not like anything else. So when
Thank
I
you.
hear
Yeah.
something like that, it's almost as if I can hear the money motive in other people's beats. It's like you can hear it. You can
Yeah.
detect, you can pick it up.
Yeah.
You feel the
It's
same.
I do feel the same, and I don't I collaborate with a lot of talented people. And if you see me collabing with someone, then it's someone that I truly respect, and like am a fan of.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of people that have sent me stuff in the past, and I end up not using it because it just sounds like cookie cutter stuff. Like I like the fact I'm from an older train of thought as well. Like I said, I was
Hmm.
making music a long time before I started selling music.
Hmm.
And the era that I kind of identify with, producers had their own sound,
Hmm.
and you could tell who was making the beat just from listening to it.
Yep.
And I think that's something that's so lost now. Like I
I agree.
can't listen to a lot of songs now and tell you who the producer is. I'll be wrong most of the time because
Hmm.
everybody's beats sound the same because everybody's using the same techniques and like going for the same thing because that's what's marketable, that's what makes
Yep.
money, that's what gets placements. And I just tried to stray away from that system as much as I could and
Hmm.
just focus on what makes me me because I feel like that's more important at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you think music is going? And what is your vision for the future?
Um, that's tough. I think music, people always say that the current era sucks and old music was better. That's just a tried and true. Like that's all, and people are always saying that.
Yeah.
But I think music is in a very like make or break spot right now. I
Hmm.
think it's tough to say where it's going, quite honestly. I really can't answer that question because with AI being a factor too, like somebody sent me a
Yeah.
song recently and I was like, "Oh, this is a great song." And I checked the credits and it's produced by AI. And I
Wow.
was yeah, and
That's
I was
crazy.
I was a little mad about it, but at the end of the day, it's like the world's changing. Like you just got to
Yeah.
embrace it. But
Yeah.
I don't know where music's heading. I know for me specifically, I know where I'm heading, and I definitely want to branch out in terms of genres.
Hmm.
So you can probably see the guitars behind me. I've been
Yeah.
practicing guitar for like the past year, and I'm really trying to make more like cohesive, fully instrumental tracks,
Hmm.
um, and kind of stray away from the tight beats, uh,
Hmm.
and that
Yeah. Got
industry,
you. Got you.
because I think the nav type beat tag has served me well,
Yeah.
and it works, but I want to do something that's more like unique to me. I feel like
Yeah.
I've kind of outgrown the tag in a way. Um,
I see what you
and
mean.
yeah, and I'll still, I have a couple of people that I'm sending beats to within the industry and like a couple of people I'm sending loops to within the industry and like I'll still be trying to produce for people,
Right.
but at the end of the day, my goal isn't really to be just another producer who's sending beats to a rapper or something like that. I
Right.
kind of want to make my own I want to make my own instrumental tracks. So,
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
obviously with the ability and perception, whatever you have in you, that's gonna work. Because who we are goes into the music. I know when I make music, and when I send it to you, you'll hear it. But when I
Mhm.
make music or when I do anything, we all have this unique seed of who we are that goes into the work we do.
I
And
agree. Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's a
Yeah.
technical aspect. Like you have to have technical skill to translate what's here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You can't just get on a beat machine and translate what's here to here. You have to practice. So
Yeah.
I do think I don't know. Do you know who Rick Rubin is?
Hmm.
Okay, Rick Rubin, he doesn't have instrument talent.
Hmm.
He is music. So
Hmm.
him being music and him being who he is, he's a producer. He just hears where sounds belong and
Yeah.
likes to put things together. The fact that somebody can even do that shows
Hmm.
what we are as human beings. Like we
Yeah.
are the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Music is interesting in that regard because like you have people that know all this music theory but can't make music. Then you have people that can make amazing music, know no music theory. And then you have people somewhere in the middle that know a bunch of instruments but can't make their own songs. They can just play other songs. So like I think everything I've learned about music over the years has really taught me there's no one true way to make music. Like,
Mm,
you can take any of these approaches. You can go learn music theory, you can learn a bunch of instruments, you can do none of that and just trust your ear. But I think the most important thing at the end of the day is just make music. Like,
yeah.
I read a book recently. I've been reading a lot more this past year, and I think that's helped my music a lot too, honestly. Just keep my
Mm,
brain more active, I guess. But
definitely more. I'm
uh,
definitely interested in that.
yeah, so one of my favorite authors is this guy named Hermann Hesse, um, German dude from like the 1930s, which
Uh-huh.
sounds like a red flag, but I promise he's fine. Uh, but he blends a lot of Eastern philosophies with Western philosophies, and he has a book called Steppenwolf, and in that book they touch on there's like this main character, and he really looks up to this other musician as another character, and he asks him like in his dreams, he's like, how do you make such good music? Like, can you tell me about the way you think about music? And he's really trying to like understand like how can I be a better musician? Like how can I be a genius like you?
Hmm.
And the musician just replies and is like, I don't want to talk about music because there's no point in talking about music. If you're if you're talking about music, you're not making music. And that's the only important thing. And
Damn.
so that's also been like something I keep in my mind, and I'm just like, there's no point in talking about any of this stuff. Not in saying to you,
No,
I'm
no, no.
enjoying this, but to an extent, there's no point in talking about how to make the better music. You just got to do it. You just got to try things. You just got to have that confidence. A lot of art is just confidence and
Hmm.
trusting your gut.
Yeah, it's a lot of vulnerability.
It is, yeah.
Because vulnerability, I was listening to Brene Brown. There's just this, I don't know if you know Brene Brown, but she wrote this
Mm,
book called Atlas of the Heart, and I think one of her big ones is Daring Greatly. But she was a shame researcher that turned into more of a vulnerability expert. And
mm,
she was researching vulnerability and the people who live wholeheartedly. And the
yeah.
people who live wholeheartedly, when she did the research, every one of them were vulnerable because there's no courage without vulnerability. You have to expose yourself. When you make a piece of music and you truly make the piece of music purely for the music's sake, and there are stakes you want it to work, that's vulnerable. Because
Yeah,
if it flops and you put your full soul into it, and being an artist, artists are sensitive. You can be sensitive as an artist.
for
It could
sure.
affect your confidence. Like, that's me. I just put my whole self in it and it
Hmm.
flopped. It can feel a certain way. So, did you have any of those moments along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I still have those moments.
Mm.
I haven't put a beat out on YouTube, and YouTube is a pretty, I think of it as like kind of a smaller version of the bigger music industry,
Yeah.
but um, I haven't put a beat out in 4 weeks, and that's not because I don't have beats to put out. It's because the stuff I'm making right now is kind of experimental, and I don't want to just put it out as a
Mm.
type beat. Like I want to put it out as something more. But if I put it
Yeah.
out as something more, it's not going to get the traction. It's not going to
Right.
get the algorithm love. So
Yeah.
I just haven't put it out because I'm just like I kind of like the way it sounds. I don't want to think about it a negative way if it doesn't do well. So I'm just
Right.
kind of sitting
Damn.
in that insecurity
That's
currently.
such
But
a unique spot, bro. That's such a unique
yeah,
spot because you should put it out. I ain't gonna say you should or shouldn't, but you know your process, you the creative.
yeah.
But it's something about that when we put that vulnerable thing out for people to feel and see and experience,
Yeah.
it makes a difference in us. It make a difference in us, and you never
Yeah.
know what can happen with it, especially if
Yeah.
it's unique and it's very specific to you. So I think I want to talk about, you talked about AI.
Hmm.
AI, they make is making some good songs,
Hmm.
but obviously if it's a human, that human spirit, that human energy that goes into the music, we people wonder, like, is that gonna be lost? Is that not gonna matter as much? And
Hmm.
I think it will. I think it will matter, but I sincerely don't know. I have not heard many AI songs, so I'm not
Yeah.
in a position to say. But what talk, can you speak to the human aspect or the human element to music?
I mean, that's all music, you know what I mean? Like music is entirely human aspect and human element. Like I think because music is art, and I think art is nothing but, kind of an embodiment of the life that you're living.
Mm,
And that kind of goes back to the fire ash analogy I use.
yeah.
But that's the way I think about all art, whether it's a book or a visual piece or anything, even like a dance, like it's an embodiment of the life you're living. It's a reflection of like
Mm,
who's creating. Um, and that's why I've never been a fan of the whole argument of, separating the art from the creator, because I feel like it's impossible to do that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think if I don't think art exists without a human behind it, if that
Mm,
makes sense.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's not art. Otherwise, it's just a product.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's go as we go into this AI future. What I'm seeing, even in the business world, everywhere, the
Yeah.
generic, that huge, it's a huge band of just generic. It's
Hmm.
like 80%
Hmm.
generic. It's just being AI is replacing everything generic. And the only thing that's left is this authentic cream of the crop 20%
Yeah.
that you really that really works. I mean, even when I'm speaking, like we go online and I speak about what I am as a manifesting coach. You can call me a manifesting coach. It's the
Hmm.
easiest way to explain me. I have studied the mind. So how you love music,
Hmm.
I have loved the mind my entire life. So
Hmm.
since I was a very, very young boy, I just watched my grandma pray through in the house and get things to come to her. It
Yeah.
happened. And I had no idea what was going on. So I asked her. And I
Hmm.
just did, and I was like 6 or 7 years old. So
Yeah.
from there, I started doing it and it never didn't work. It always worked.
Same.
So
Yeah.
I started studying consciousness, the mind, spirit's effect on the mind, and mind's effect on physical matter. I started
Yeah.
to connect the dots, and I really started to become a practitioner to the point
Hmm.
where we help to do, and you in medicine, so this is you probably understand the placebo effect, but in medicineless hospitals and stuff like that. When I tell you, I watched a lady. She came to us with a kid with cancer.
Yeah.
Her kid had cancer. He was 8 years old. Had cancer in his right lung. She didn't want to use medicine, traditional medicine. She came to us, and all we did was use the mental techniques that we learned and use our heart energy to see this child heal. I promise you, a month later, thank you, babe. A month later, the kid, she sent us a picture. Thank you so much. My kid's healed. No cancer.
Wow. Yeah.
Never didn't use medicine, didn't use anything. We saw that. We saw a girl in our group who was wearing glasses. And I don't know if you're familiar with Lynn McTaggart. Have you ever heard of Lynn McTaggart? Lynn
No.
McTaggart wrote this book called The Field. We talk about the field, just a field of intelligence that connects everything.
Hmm.
She gets people together and created what's called intention experiments. So
Hmm.
all it is send an intention to certain calls and see what happens. Well, we did this, and when you send intention, as you know, you get back 100-fold whatever you send. So we're
Yeah.
sending healing energy. This girl used to
Hmm.
wear glasses.
Hmm.
I promise you. In the middle of our meeting one day, at the end of the meditation, she texts the group, "I'm not wearing glasses anymore. I don't need them."
Yeah.
She was like a pro paintballer, not well semi-pro, whatever the higher level of paintball was, and she was
Hmm.
not using glasses in her paintball matches.
Wow.
That was the effect Spear had. So I went so deep, and that's me. So the
Hmm.
reason I'm having this conversation and why I love the conversation is because
Hmm.
as you're speaking, I'm hearing the energy that you speak with. I'm hearing where you
Hmm.
speak from, and
Hmm.
and I love what you doing with your art. So I want to bring people on who really doing something authentic and real, and you
Yeah.
definitely are doing something authentic and real. But that energy goes the energy that gets put into those type of things is just unbelievable when you
Yeah.
really study and break it down. And it parallels music, it parallels everything you do. So I'm curious what the parallels. We talked about medicine a little bit.
Yeah.
In medicine,
hmm
uh, do you see creativity springing up in medicine, and how does that look?
To an extent. So I'm also interested in the mind.
Okay.
I got interested in psychology in high school, did that in college, and then I'm going into neurology now.
Oh,
Um,
that's
so
the spot.
yeah, so trying to go into brain medicine. And yeah, we don't fully understand everything about the brain and the mind, and I think a lot of things do ultimately come down to creativity, like the way that medicines are used within brain
Hmm.
and, psychological medication. It
Hmm.
does come down to creativity. You kind of have to just see what you're trying to achieve and what tools you have to achieve it, not
Hmm.
necessarily what's recommended, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and mu music is really similar. Like, even your choice of like instruments, or you have to think about what you're trying to achieve and how you're going to get there, and
Hmm.
then what tools you have to help you get there.
Right.
So I think that aspect definitely comes into play.
Do you like I don't know if you had the situation where you have very little resources, but you maximize the fuck out of the resources. Like you do everything you possibly can with that and you produce something incredible. And then it's times when you got all the resources and you don't really produce something that well.
Yeah,
That doesn't well.
so musically, you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean in
Yeah,
general too, but yeah,
yeah.
music.
Yeah, I mean, I think that has been kind of my like trajectory this whole year.
Mm,
Whole like past couple years. Ever since I started playing guitar, I think guitar really grounded me in simplicity because do you know who Johnny Marr is? He's the
mm-mm,
guitarist for the Smiths.
mm-mm,
Um, so he has a really good interview where he talked about how his whole purpose as a guitarist for his band was serving the song. And
mm,
that's the phrase he used. He said that, doesn't matter what you're playing as long as you're serving the song.
mm-hmm.
And, that could be three chords, that could be a billion notes, whatever it takes to help carry the song to what it needs to
Damn.
be. And, since I heard that, I've really tried to carry that with me. And I think that's kind of how I approach music now is I try, because when you're using computers and you have this unlimited, you know, abundance of resources. Like you can put 20 effects on every instrument chain if you want to. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people go all out and they want to make things way too complicated because
Mm-hmm.
just for the sake of being complicated or just for the sake of novelty,
Yep.
um, especially in this day and age where things are like kind of going down distorted mess
Yeah.
wave. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think there's something to just simplicity. A lot of my beats nowadays, it's typically one plugin and just multiple instances of that plugin because I realize that it's gonna sound more cohesive that way. If I
Mm-hmm.
have to use effects, I'll try to get the effects inside the plugin because a lot of plugins have effects built into them and just
Mm-hmm.
simplify my chains because it sounds more cohesive that way. I won't use anything unless I see a need for it, really.
Mm.
Um, there's not a lot of unnecessary stuff when I make beats nowadays. Like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff is just 8 elements or 9 elements, It's not a lot of stuff.
That's so unique. That's so profound because it's the exact same way when it comes to creative manifesting, when
hmm
it comes to creating reality and it comes to doing anything. The best ones, they know more, but they use less. They're simpler. It's like
Yeah.
stripping away. Like in the Tao Te Ching, it says when you are in education, every day something is added. When
hmm
practicing the Tao, something every day is taken away.
Yeah.
So it's always simplifying, but it's not oversimplifying like basic.
Yeah.
No, it's stripping away what's not necessary. My brother, I was asking my brother, he's not spiritual by any means, bro.
hmm
Like he
hmm
is not an advanced practitioner at all. But I asked him, I said, what do you think nature is? Like, what's your definition of natural or nature? He gave the best definition. He said, nothing added to it.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, it was so profound. Like he's not a profound dude, but
Yeah.
that was so profound. It stuck in my head. It sounded like that's exactly what you're doing. Is
Yeah.
it's just nothing added to it.
I mean, sometimes you don't need to do anything because, like, if you think about all the songs that are, the classics, like if you think about like Michael Jackson, Prince, like all these older artists, they were using the effects that are available now. They're using physical versions of that, and you couldn't
Mm,
put the same EQ on like 15 different tracks because you just physically couldn't do it. So you had
yeah.
to pick which one needed it. And so I kind of take that same approach with it now, where it's
Mm,
like, just because I can do it doesn't mean I should do it. There's no point in doing it. Um, I think a lot of people are falling down that trap nowadays, though, because I just saw like a clip of a producer talking about how like piano roll music isn't like good. Like
hmm.
basically, if you can listen to a melody and understand what notes are being played, then it's like basic. And I really disagree with that because I'm just like, that's how music's been played for hundreds of years. We could hear
Hmm.
exactly what notes are being played. It's not the fact that we can't understand what's being played that makes it good. It's the fact that it's good that makes it good, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. If it's good, it's good, it's good.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You don't need to overcomplicate things, in my opinion.
damn. That makes me think, and then I'm gonna ask you this last question, wrap it up.
Sure, yeah.
It makes me think that the advantage and the opportunity is always polarity. The advantage and the opportunity is back to simplicity.
Hmm.
Because it works in circles. So if we're at the peak of complexity at this point.
Yeah.
We're moving
Yeah.
into even more complexity because we think complex is better. But right at that peak is when it starts to swing back down to the
Yeah.
other end of the pole, which is simplicity and simplicity in everything. And I'm
Yeah.
actually excited about the simplicity because I
Hmm.
think that the complexity is going to be handled by AI, but the human being is going to really start to recognize and appreciate simplicity because you get overwhelmed with complexity and you want simplicity again. You start appreciating simplicity again.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going to go.
I
Everything make a
think
circle.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, everything's a circle. One side of the circle isn't better than the other. I'm not saying there's no
Right.
place for complexity. You can
Right.
have complex pieces, but there's no point in being complex just for the sake of being
For the
complex.
sake of complexity. Right.
Yeah. I think like we said earlier, good music is good music. At the end of the day, good art is going to trump everything. And that's what bothers me about like the music industry and the whole marketability thing I was saying earlier, because
Yeah.
as soon as good art comes out, they just try to mimic it. But it's like
Yeah.
you should have pushed it in the first place, because like one example that comes to mind with that is I don't know if you're familiar with McGee, the guitarist and the singer.
No, 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 no. You giving me good people. I'm about to look them all
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, so McGee, MK.GEE, he dropped an album last year around like June, July. My favorite album of the year, and a lot of people's favorite album of the year,
Really?
but it sounds unlike anything that came before it.
Mm,
And ever since that album came out, people have kind of just he's built like this organic following around that album.
really?
And now, because of that organic following, Justin Bieber gravitated towards McGee. McGee helped produce all of Justin Bieber's like last album, I'm pretty sure,
Mm,
and him and Dijon, which is like another guy that has a similar sound, like they're kind of close. Um, but because of that sound that they created last year, so many people are trying to mimic that sound now, and labels
yeah.
are pushing all these artists that are mimicking that sound, when in reality they should have been pushing the album that created the sound. Like,
Yeah.
but that's because they're not pushing artistry, they're pushing marketability. They see
Yeah.
that this thing is working. They want to clone it as much as they can because it's selling according to the stats. And that's
Hmm.
what really bothers me about the business side of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The advantage is if you can be in your authentic vein,
Yeah.
like McGee got into his authentic vein, you will create what everybody else copies. And the
Yeah.
original content will just keep coming out. Because, it used to be where you can't think about way back in the day. Nobody really copied each other because
Yeah.
how can you? It's not how could you do it? But then
Yeah.
when you were able to copy because the tools made it easier to copy, people start
Hmm.
copying because that's what
Yeah.
people do is a copycat world.
Yeah.
But once you get to that point, it actually pushes the real artists to create original
Yeah.
because and push the needle, which I'm excited about. That's the part that
Yeah.
I'm excited about is the innovation.
Yeah. I think that's like that's the goal for me. That's like that's the track that I feel like I'm on. Like I'm trying to
Hmm.
create the thing that blows up in its own right, not for the sake of blowing up, but just because it's good, meaningful art.
Yep.
I'm not trying to climb a ladder. I'm not trying to like be in a rat race with a billion other producers and produce for the most artists or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you make something good enough, people will flock to it and people will want to copy you,
Yep.
and you're gonna be way past the rat race. You're gonna be at the top of the ladder without having to go through all the steps of climbing the ladder. So you just gotta
Yes.
find your authentic self and express that as true as you can. Just keep experimenting, honestly.
Yo, this conversation has been amazing. I could talk literally forever. I promise you, man. But
Mhm.
I want to ask you a final closeout question that I ask everybody.
Yeah,
If you had one thing that you can say, if you're 80 years old, your 80-year-old self, you
yeah.
looking back at yourself right now, what would be the one thing that you would tell yourself right now as your 80-year-old self?
Um, I kind of already tell myself this, but just to anybody listening, um, don't don't put too much stock in any numbers in your life, whether it's number of followers, number of likes, number of people you surround yourself with, like amount of money you have. No number is going to bring you happiness. I think you should treasure, relationships that you have with people, and just the life you're living. Um, and yeah, numbers aren't going to bring you happiness.
Aravata, thank you for coming on to the podcast. I appreciate you. I'm sure we're gonna do this again, but until next time, peace.
Thank you, man.
Bro, excellent episode, bro. Excellent episode.
That was so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
So good.
Yo, excellent episode. So many layers to it. And next time we talk, I'm sure we're gonna do it again. We can get in more of the detail of how you do things and the more of like the technical. Because
Yeah.
Leisha over here, she want me to ask you. She's like, I want to learn how to make beats. Can you ask him? Can you learn teach me how to make beats?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just got to get on there and do it. You just got to do it. Like just like you said, you
Yeah.
just have to start doing
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
listening. I was like, I guess I'll do that first.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, in a simple way, just to answer your question, if you want to learn how to make beats, I think the way I do it is I just find a sound that I like and then just start playing things from there. And there's a thing in FL Studio where you can import the things you played within the last 2 minutes. And a lot of my beats start out as just accidents of things I played, and I just build
Mm.
around that. But
Fruity Loop Studio, you talking about?
So
It's Fruity
I was
Loop.
FL
doing
Studio,
that.
yeah.
She's like, I don't know what they.
Right
But
now,
yeah,
you know
I
it.
know what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just start with one sound that you like and just go from there.
Okay,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yo, thank you for jumping on here. I'm want to be
Mhm.
respectful of your time. I know it's late. I'm gonna be in contact with you, bro. I'm gonna cut
Yeah.
up this episode and then I'm gonna send it to you. Let me stop the recording. I can stop the recording too. But I'm gonna cut the episode up.